Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today in the Ask SSM video series, I got an email from a subscriber who is looking for help for his friend. His friend's in a lot of trouble because he got dumped by his girlfriend, who this guy completely did everything I say not to do, put her on the pedestal, treated her like the queen, made her the center of his universe, and then she dumped him. And this guy is really going through a hard time, to the point that he's becoming self-destructive, and his actions are going to soon get him in jail if he's not careful. And so I'm doing this one, guys, to show you two reasons here. Number one, to obviously help this guy out and help his friend out. But two, to help any of you guys that may end up in a situation, I hope you don't, like this guy, where you are a relationship guy, made all these mistakes that I tell you not to do, but do them anyway, and need help to get over her and get on the right path and not make these mistakes again. And also I'm doing this, guys, to show you as a perfect example all the crap that guys do, that the nice guy crap that gets them in trouble to begin with. So for your relationship and dating guys, as I go through this, I want you to pay close attention to the mistakes he's making, and I want to see if you can, before I even say it, see where he's going wrong, so you guys don't do the same thing. Because if you do what this guy does in this story, his tale about his friend and all the mistakes he made with his former girlfriend, mark my words, you're in for a lot of pain, because you will be dumped, you'll be taken advantage of, and you'll be really hurt. So I want to see that happen here. So I'm going to go through this guy's email, read his story here, and we can all learn from this. And he's looking for help. He didn't specifically say asking for my help as other Ask SSM emails go, but this is right along that line. I think that's what he's going for without actually saying it. So that's why I figured I would do it with this particular video. So he says here, excuse me guys, he says, hello SSM. First off, I'm a big fan of your channel, and I introduced my friends to your content a while ago, and we all tune in regularly. Brother, thank you very much for following me, and thank you for recommending me your friends. I really appreciate it. He says, SSM, I'm not writing you with my story of my own, but I have a friend who's in crisis who just can't seem to get over the fact that his girlfriend left him for another guy. We've all been there. I have a group of friends who I've known since childhood. We're all in our mid-30s to early 40s. The youngest of us, I'll just refer to him as Roger, has been dumped by his girlfriend and is really struggling over it. Roger is the quote-unquote nice guy of the group, and to be honest, he's been walked over by women basically his entire life. That's usually how it goes. Nice guys do that, and they never learn until they just go through so much agony and suffering. They finally have their wake-up call and change. He says, through hanging out with us, he's developed somewhat of a backbone, but he's still a little spineless when it comes to women. A little, dude, I think you're being very generous with that little. Little, no. There isn't an ounce of spine in that back. There's no spine left. He says here, he met this girl who he had been dating for 3 years now, and we thought everything was going well, but it turns out it wasn't. He made a lot of critical errors with this woman, and we would often give him grief, such as giving her access to his bank accounts, getting credit cards in his name for her, and moving in with her, which was the biggest mistake he ever made. Smack. I would say that moving in with her wasn't the biggest mistake he ever made. I'd say giving her information about his bank accounts and putting her name on his credit cards, that's actually bigger for long-term mistake than moving in with her. But yes, moving in with her to her place, huge mistake. And for you guys, as I read that, saw the problems right there, good for you. You never, ever give access to your girl, your bank account, put her name on your credit cards, no way, and you don't move in with her to her place. That's a big mistake. And I'll get back to that in a minute. It says here, he gave this woman everything, and we're convinced because it seems like he couldn't think or make a move without her. When she made him give up his apartment to move in with her, we strongly objected, but you cannot tell a grown man what to do, so he moved in with her anyway. She made him move in with her. This is the type of guy we're dealing with here. This guy, and he said he can't seem to make a move without her. I guess right now, this guy probably comes from a family where his father was bossed around by his mom. Or he was raised in a single-parent household and the mom ran the show, so he's used to a woman giving a guy orders. That's probably what he's like. And probably the guys that she was with was kissing her butt to get her approval and affection, so that's what he thinks he has to do. I could be wrong, but that's usually the case what happens here. Mom ran the show completely. He can't think without her. He grew up with dominant women, and so this is what you have. And it's a big mistake because it will turn women off. They'll often take advantage of you, like right here. He says, early on in their relationship, we could clearly see that she was the one in control. And she dictated how much time he spent with us, and she changed even the way he dressed, etc. Yep. He bought her a car, and she didn't like it because it wasn't quote-unquote nice enough, so he took it back and got her a more expensive one, which she also gave him a ton of shit for. Oh my God. Remember when you said a little spineless? And I said there's not even a shred of spine in there? There is no spine in there. I don't mean to be insulting towards your friend, bro, but come on here. This guy, I'm sorry that he's suffering, but he brought this shit on him, okay? And been a nice guy his whole life, and I'm sure he probably didn't want to hear the things I talk about. Well, he's either going to learn, or he's just going to, well, it's not going to go well for him. It goes on, because, guys, this goes on. He says here, we saw that he was so wrapped up in this woman that he completely lost himself. Recently, she broke it off with him and moved another guy in after kicking him out, and this has really driven him to the edge of sanity. Edge of sanity? That guy should have been celebrating. You all should have been out having a party, and he should have been doing cartwheels and just a big celebration that he's finally rid of the bitch. But no, he's destroyed. Says, of course, he was crushed, and as friends, we all tried to be there for him, and we all resisted the urge to tell him, I told you so. Well, you know what? After a lifetime of him obviously having this type of behavior, no one can blame you if he did say that. It's good you didn't do it. I'm sure it was hard. But now's the time for some tough love, and to really get him to change his ways so none of this BS will happen to him again. But he brought on, she's obviously an a-hole, we can all agree there, and she takes advantage of him, but he brought this on. He enabled her behavior. He says, Roger doesn't seem to be able to get over this, even though it's been a few months now, and he's acting erratically. He won't stop talking about her, and he won't stop obsessing over her. And this has all culminated into one night I got a frantic phone call from his ex telling me that he is banging on the door trying to get in the house. Oh boy. Now he can get arrested and get a criminal record for breaking and entering, or at least trying to, and harassment and everything else. All this over a chick who took full advantage of him, kicked him to the curb just like that. It's such a shame how guys can get so wrapped up in these types of gals and the damage can occur. And she's not so innocent. Give me a break. She took full advantage of him. She knew what she was doing every step of the way. And when she was done with him, goodbye. And she's probably hooking up with a guy who does the exact opposite of what this guy does. She sounded really terrified, and I could actually hear him banging on the door. I had to get my car and race over there as fast as I could. When I got there, I demanded he get in the car, and then I had to physically get him in the car since I'm bigger than he is. I drove us back to my place, scolding him the entire way as a father would scold his defiant son, and asked him, are you stupid? Do you really want to get arrested over this chick? I told him we all try to be understanding, but it's clear that she has moved on to the whole other relationship, and she's not thinking about him, so he needs to move on. Good. This guy needs some tough freaking love, because he obviously didn't get that growing up, okay? And coddling him and there-thering him obviously doesn't do anything, so he needs a new approach needs to be taken. A serious verbal smack in the face. In fact, he does deserve a good smack, to be honest with you. If I was there, believe me, he'd get some smacks from me. He goes on, when I got back to my home, I called my other friends over, and we had kind of an intervention where he basically gave him a ton of crap for acting like a fool over this female who clearly doesn't care about him. We all told him that he seriously needs to get over this, or it'll slowly destroy him, and if he continues to act like a fool and gets arrested, we're not going to help him. Good. The intervention is good. You obviously care, you and your friends, because otherwise you wouldn't do this. And you got to make it clear, look, we're here to help you and help you get over this and move on, but if you do all this bullshit, that's it. We're walking away. You get yourself arrested, bail yourself out. Tough love, guys. You got to act that way with your family members, friends, you get kids, you get my point. Although as grown men we are not going to coddle him, we all try to tell him we do understand how he feels, and we all know what it's like to have your heart broken, but he needs to man up and leave this woman alone. SSM, I like to share some advice I learned the hard way years ago, especially to the younger guys out there. Number 1, don't ever let a woman become the center of your world. To see your world to see the point that you lose yourself and she'll be all that you can see. Absolutely. I say that all the time. You, personally, guys, you are the center of your world, and your goals and ambitions and purpose and making your life better and what you want to be, that's your number one priority. The problem is so many guys make the girl the top priority, just like the guy in this story, and how'd that work out for him? And how'd that work out for any of you guys that thought, oh, well, I'm going to do what they do in the TV and movies and make her the center of my universe and make her my top priority, put her on the pedestal and treat her like the queen and do all these things and she'll just love me so much. No, it doesn't work that way. Doesn't mean that she's going to be just like in the story, but you get my point. It ain't going to go well. Number 2, don't ever move in with a woman if you're living with her at her place. You give her too much power over you. Yes, I've said that before. The only reason you should move in with your girl, guys, is after you've been together for years. I mean years. And you're thinking about marrying her. And you've done the screening process. And the moving in with her is like the final screening process to see if you can stand living with her. Okay? After years of being with her and seeing what she's like in all sorts of life situations, scenarios, you've met her family, you come to the conclusion they're normal, they like you, it's good, she's a good communicator, she seems good with money. The moving in is a final test, but you don't move into her place because that gives her power over you. You're in her turf. You either have her come to your place or you both pick out a new place together. You move to her turf, bad idea. Just like here. I did a story about 5 weeks ago about a guy who had a great thing going and she was chasing after him and he eventually made the mistake. He got too into it, sold his house, moved in with her, and within a month, things went south. Number 3, always stand your ground. If a woman shows you that she is controlling, kick her to the curb. You're damn right. You're the one leading the relationship. Any chick's going to be bossing you around. You walk, guys. I don't care how hot she is, how great in bed she is, how cool she can be when she's not bossing you around. No. You lead the relationship, okay? And it doesn't mean you got to be a jerk and bossing her around, but you get my point. It says, SSM, keep preaching the gospel. We need men like you to fight the good fight. Well, bro, I'm here every day doing this. I will try. If I can help out one guy from somewhere around the world every day, then I'm doing my job. Now, I'm going to add some things here. In no particular order. For your friend, okay, your friend, you guys doing the intervention, that's awesome. And you're being there to help him, awesome. And you giving him some shit and scolding him like a kid, he needs that, okay? No more coddling. That hasn't worked, okay? Now it's the tough love. But this guy, if you think he's going to be able to turn this off like a light switch, that ain't going to happen. And I'd recommend the following things that you can advise him. Number 1, tell him to start watching my freaking channel. And not just mine, but other channels like mine. He needs to immerse himself. He needs to just spend all his time watching these channels with subject matters that can relate to things he's going through. Nice guys, that type of behavior, what happens when you put your girl on the pedestal, treat her like the queen, and the effects. He needs to watch these videos. He needs to hear these stories, these real stories from dudes all over the world to learn. And he ain't going to want to hear it because that's just going to make him feel bad and feel stupid. Tough shit. He needs to watch these videos to help him. And again, I'm not the only game in town. There are other great guys out there who are like me, have great channels. I'm sure a lot of you guys watch them, and they can help this dude out. He needs to watch this stuff to learn. Also, he needs to cut her off completely out of his life. Blocked completely off social media, email, text, everything. He can't have any more contact with her. The only way she have contact with her is if she has stuff at the apartment that he once lived at, and he needs to get that back. That is it. Okay, done. No talking to her, cut her off completely, with no hope of getting back with her because why would he? She was awful to him. Second thing he needs to do, or the next thing he needs to do, is cut her off from the credit cards. If her name is on any cards in his name, he needs to cut her off, get her name off those freaking credit cards, okay? And I don't care if it's going to hit her credit. Fuck her. If he has a joint bank account with her, because you never know, he needs to take his money, clearly his money out of that joint bank account, out of there, and then take his name off that account and move his money, that money he took out of there, into his own account in his name, okay? Because he's not going to be able to close it with her name on it. But if it's a joint, if he hasn't done it already or she hasn't cleared it out, take that money out of that joint account, his money out of there, and then put in a separate account, and that's it, and he's off the thing. And or if she has access to his bank information, like his login and all that type of stuff, change those right away, and anything else. Another thing is that this guy really, in my opinion, probably needs some freaking therapy, some professional help, because it isn't just about him being a weak, nice guy and letting a girl walk all over. I think there's deep issues here. I think it goes back to family shit. I know I mentioned that earlier in the video. I got to really question with growing up in his household, his mom ran the show, and his dad was weak, which I'm going to guess he was. So therefore, he didn't have a masculine figure to look up to see how to lead in a relationship, how to act and not be bossed around, those types of things. So I'm probably guessing the mother ran the show, and that's why he can't, with the girlfriend, he seemed like he couldn't think or do anything without asking her or her input, or you get my point. So a therapist can dig that up and find out what's leading to him this type of behavior and this kiss ass, trying to get her approval all the time type of behavior. And another thing is, I got to wonder, the family he grew up in, did he not get a whole lot of love growing up as a kid? And the only way he thought he could get love is by doing all these things to get the woman to love him back. All these gestures to get her approval. Okay? Or just simply, he didn't get the love he wanted from his mom and dad, so therefore he sought out that love he didn't get in girlfriends, and then went too far being nice and doing all these gestures and kissing her ass and being essentially a little bitch to get her approval, to get that love he never got as a kid. I know I'm digging deep here, but these are important questions to ask, and these are things that a good therapist could unravel and help him identify why he does the things he does to help him stop. Because you can scold him till you're blue in the face. If he can't get to the core of the problem, well, it's going to just keep happening. Another thing I said here is just, like I said, just keep being there for him and help him move on. No more sugarcoating. And you're beyond sugarcoating. All you and all your friends, you got to lay out the ugly truth. And you got to lay it out to him. Aside from telling him to watch my video, say, bro, we're trying to help you, and you got to hear the ugly truth. Here's where you went wrong. You did this. You kissed her butt. You moved in with her. You were buying her all these things. You bought her a car. You took the car back when she didn't want it. It wasn't good enough. All these things to get her approval. Kissing her butt. You don't do that type of stuff, okay? These are all the things you went wrong, and blah, 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 and really lay it out. He's got to hear this. And last thing is just simply let him understand again, if there's any shred of a little bit of coddling, it could be say, hey bro, we've all been through this. We've all been dumped. We all had our hearts broken. You can do that so you can, let him know that you get it and all your bros get it. And that way then, and say, look, but we didn't keep making the same mistakes over and over again. You got to cut that shit. So I would recommend all those types of things. Watch my channel and channels like mine with things, help him get him to watch those things so he can obviously see where he was going wrong, and just video after video after video to help him see things that he can be like, oh, I did that was wrong. I did that was wrong. Cut off all ties with it completely, get her off the credit cards, off the joint accounts, anything like that, and get him to move the hell on. And this guy should not get in any relationship or anything like that until this guy really has fixed himself. And of course, the therapy to help dig there, because if this guy keeps doing what he's doing, his ass is going to get arrested and get a restraining order against him and have a criminal record. And worse yet, he keeps going, he can end up in jail. You just never know. It's not worth him destroying his life over some chick. Okay, but you got to get to the root problem to help him to change. Otherwise, he's going to keep making the same mistake, and Lord knows what may happen to him, because you don't want anything to happen to your buddy. So you're a good friend for writing in, and I really hope I can help a little bit. And I encourage you guys watching this, the community, to add your input to help him out. So guys, this story, like I said, is a perfect example of what not to do and what can happen if you do it, the type of behavior. You can see, I'm sure you guys, as I was reading this, was just like, oh God, because you could see where he was going wrong, because you learned. Either you learned yourself or you learned through the stories that I've done on here. And also now you guys will know, if you do get in a situation like that, what will happen and what you got to do to move on. So I hope that is helpful to this guy. I really hope that his buddy, I think, works out for him, but he's going to have to go through a complete 180. He's going to have to flip the script, and it's not going to happen overnight. But if he has gradual progress, moving on in terms of changing himself and figure out what's wrong with him, then that's a win. But it ain't going to happen overnight. But just be there for him, give him time. But again, tough love. And if he starts slipping up, give him a good smack from SSM. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Really, let me know what you think about this, and let this guy know any ideas and tips. And also, guys, if you have any questions for me for the Ask SSM series, email it to me. Just put Ask SSM in the title, so I know what I'm looking for. And also, guys, any good stories you got to share with me or articles that would be useful for the channel, email it to me, and I'll definitely do it down the road. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.